All right, now that is President Trump standing firm on his promise to get migrant gang members out of the country.
And now some Republican lawmakers are pushing to impeach the federal judge who ruled against those deportation flights to El Salvador.
Lucas Tomlinson joins us now with more. Hey, Lucas.
Good morning, Ainsley. Good morning, guys. That's right. House Republicans have introduced a measure to impeach that Obama-appointed judge who tried to bar those deportation flights of Venezuelan gang members. President Trump told our own Laura Ingraham he stands by his decision to launch those planes.
Do you have faith that the Supreme Court ultimately will rule in your favor in this case?
I do, because the job of getting people out of our country that are murderers, that are absolutely the worst people, the drug lords, we're supposed to be getting them out or getting them brought to justice.
Would you defy a court order? Because we all know that, and that was outrageous.
I never did defy a court order.
And you wouldn't in the future?
No, you can't do that. However, we have bad judges.
Now, Attorney General Pam Bondi and her deputy write there was no violation of the court's written order since the relevant flights left U.S. airspace, and so their documents were removed before the order issued. And the court's earlier oral statements were not independently enforceable as injunctions. Now, the Justice Department has till noon today to answer the following questions about the flights. What time did the plane take off from U.S. soil and from where? What time did it leave U.S. airspace? What time did it land in which foreign country, including if it made more than one stop? What time were individuals subject solely to the proclamation transferred out of U.S. custody? How many people were aboard solely on the basis of the proclamation? Now, Chief Justice John Roberts disagrees with impeachment, writing for more than 2 centuries, it has been established that impeachment is not an appropriate response to disagreement concerning a judicial decision. The normal appellate review process exists for that purpose. Now, these questions all appear straightforward, guys, 4 times and a head count. And by the way, I have a question, guys. When's the parade for those astronauts?
Oh,
Yeah,
good
exactly.
idea. Good idea.
All right, thanks so much, Lucas. But here's the thing. This is judge fair. This is the only way
100%.
President Trump could be stopped. The Democrats can't stop him. He knows exactly what he's doing. He knows how to manipulate the system, work the system. But now you have this judge who's asking a series of questions to stop the future flights. Venezuela has gone back on their word to accept their gangsters back, so El Salvador stepped up. So that's another issue. But the 261 aren't moving. I want the next 261, but it wasn't the only problem yesterday. An appeals court judge stopped the EPA from cutting $20 billion in grants. An appeals court judge stopped them from cutting the USAID program. So this is one after another. Them going at also a judge stopped stop the banning of transgender service members in the Pentagon. So whose agenda is it? Some Obama-appointed judge, or is it President Trump that got elected?
Well, and
this is an issue.
And we're talking about certain issues where the courts don't have oversight over. When there's discretion to the State Department, when there's discretion to the president and the executive. I don't necessarily disagree with the statement from the Supreme Court Justice, the Chief Justice, but it was missing checking the judges and telling them to stay within their lane. So we'll see what happens.
Right. Well, I think, let's see, on Friday, the judge is going to meet with the Department of Justice and the 5 people who brought the lawsuit against him with the ACLU. We told you about that yesterday. That's the reason this temporary stop happened, because lawyers said, look, those 5 people shouldn't be on those flights, and they were not deported. Here's the thing. The president absolutely, because he signed that executive order, has the authority to deport the bad guys, especially, and he made it very clear, he has the authority to deport terrorist gang members. The question is whether or not those 5 people that the lawsuit was all about are actually TDA. And apparently the lawyers have told the Department of Justice that they were not gang members. They were targeted by TDA when they were in Venezuela. And in a filing by the Department of Justice, records show that several did not have records in the United States. And apparently others were simply arrested near raids. So the question is whether or not they really were gang members. But the president absolutely,
so they're
accusing
our law enforcement then, Steve, of fudging this, that they're planting evidence.
That they were good guys.
That they were good guys.
Leaders.
I mean, that they're just making all of this up.
President Trump said, I don't know who this judge is, but he's a radical left. Obama appointee. He's actually said we shouldn't be able to take criminals, killers, murderers, horrible, the worst people, gang members, gang leaders, that we shouldn't be able to take them out of our country. country. Well, that's a presidential job.
Yeah.
That's not for a local judge to be making the determination.
And that's what I said. I said the president's got the authority to do it. The question is, were they gang
What is
members?
this?
If
Does
they
this judge
weren't,
want the 130 that were under the Alien Enemies? Well, he's upset about the Alien Enemies Act. There were 130 that were removed for that. Does he want them to come back? Should we put them in his community?
I agree. So if they're not TDA, they've definitely broken the law. This is maybe one resolve is this: you list the transgressions, and that's just it. And actually helps our show too. Who's this guy? This is what he did. Who's this guy? This is what he did. So if the judge actually wanted to solve the problem, that's what he would say instead of what time did the flight leave? When did you get the trans? This is a guy that's looking for his
out of control. Red tape,
he wants to be in Washington
bureaucracy.
Post tomorrow.
All right.
we're going to talk about it as they try to adjudicate it and figure it all out.
Meanwhile,
it's complicated. Let's just say that.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.